Remember Friday nights in the 90s? The thrill of heading to that giant blue and yellow store, wandering the aisles, picking out the perfect movie, and grabbing a box of popcorn. That was the magic of Blockbuster. At its peak, it was more than just a video rental store. It was a cultural phenomenon. With over 9,000 locations worldwide, Blockbuster was the undisputed king of home entertainment. Its business model seemed bulletproof, built on the simple act of renting movies and, of course, a hefty reliance on a major source of its revenue, late fees. We've all been there, right? Forgetting to return a movie and getting hit with that penalty. It was annoying for us, but for Blockbuster, it was a goldmine, making up a significant chunk of their profits. They were on top of the world, a seemingly invincible giant in the entertainment industry. It felt like the Blockbuster party would never end. But behind the scenes, a storm was brewing, and the seeds of its downfall were being sown in a way nobody could have predicted. The year is 2000. The dot-com bubble is bursting, but a small, determined startup has an idea that could change everything. That company was Netflix. At the time, they weren't the streaming giant we know today. They were a niche DVD by mail service. You'd go online, pick your movies, and they'd arrive in your mailbox in a little red envelope. No due dates, no late fees. It was a novel concept, but they were struggling. So, their co-founders, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, flew to Dallas to meet with the top brass at Blockbuster. They had a proposition. They offered to sell their entire company to Blockbuster for $50 million. The pitch was simple. Netflix would run Blockbuster's online brand, merging their innovative subscription model with Blockbuster's massive retail footprint. It was a chance to own the future of home entertainment. But Blockbuster's CEO, John Antioco, reportedly laughed them out of the room. He saw Netflix not as an opportunity, but as a tiny, irrelevant competitor. Why would a billion-dollar empire need a struggling mail-order service? They declined the offer, a decision that would go down in history as one of the biggest blunders in modern business. That single moment, that $50 million no, would seal Blockbuster's fate and set Netflix on a path to global domination. After being rejected by Blockbuster, Netflix went back to the drawing board, more determined than ever. They doubled down on their DVD by mail service, refining the user experience and growing their subscriber base one red envelope at a time. The appeal was undeniable, a massive library of movies, delivered to your door, with no late fees. It was the anti-Blockbuster. As high-speed internet became more common, Netflix made its next game-changing move. In 2007, they launched their Watch Now streaming service. At first, the selection was limited, and the quality wasn't always perfect, but the convenience was revolutionary. You could watch a movie instantly, with just a few clicks. While Netflix was innovating at lightning speed, Blockbuster was stuck in the past. They were slow to recognize the threat. They did eventually launch their own DVD by mail service, Blockbuster Total Access, and even eliminated late fees, but it was too little, too late. They were playing catch-up in a race they were already losing. Their attempts to compete felt clunky and reactive. They tried to build their own streaming service, but it couldn't match the seamless experience and growing content library of Netflix. Blockbuster was a battleship trying to turn in a tiny harbor, while Netflix was a speedboat zipping past them into the open ocean. The world was changing, and Blockbuster simply couldn't keep up. The final chapter for Blockbuster was swift and brutal. The company that had once dominated Friday nights was now hemorrhaging money. The rise of Netflix, combined with other on-demand services and Redbox kiosks, made their brick-and-mortar model obsolete. Customers no longer needed to drive to a store when an endless library of entertainment was available at their fingertips. The debt mounted, and the customer base dwindled. In September 2010, the inevitable happened. Blockbuster filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. It was a stunning fall from grace for a company that had been a household name just a decade earlier. Dish Network acquired the company in 2011 with hopes of a revival, but the brand was too damaged. They began closing the remaining corporate-owned stores, and by early 2014, the last ones shut their doors for good. The iconic blue and yellow signs came down, marking the end of an era. The story of Blockbuster's collapse is a powerful cautionary tale. It's a lesson in what happens when a market leader becomes complacent, fails to innovate, and underestimates the power of a disruptive idea. They had the chance to buy their biggest rival for a mere $50 million and instead chose to laugh. It was a $50 million mistake that cost them everything. Today, just one single Blockbuster store remains, in Bend, Oregon. It's a tourist attraction, a living museum, and a nostalgic reminder of a bygone era. It stands as a monument to a time before streaming, before binge watching, before Netflix and chill. It's a symbol of what happens when you fail to adapt in a rapidly changing world. Blockbuster's legacy isn't just about forgotten VHS tapes and late fees. It's a crucial lesson for every business. The giant was slain not by a bigger giant, but by a small, nimble competitor with a better idea. They owned the present but lost sight of the future. The next time you scroll through an endless library of content on your screen, take a moment to remember the giant that refused to see what was coming. The world of entertainment will always evolve, and those who don't evolve with it are destined to become a memory. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about the companies and technologies that shape our world. We'll see you in the next one.